You've probably rounded values up and down quite a few times in your life. At a restaurant, you might round a bill up to the nearest $10 increment and then tell the server to keep the change, or describe the cost of a new building as about $10 million, even though the price could be a little higher or a little lower. Excel has several functions you can use to round off worksheet values. You should become familiar with them so you can determine which is the best function for a particular task. My sample file is the rounding workbook, and you can find it in the Chapter 2 folder of the exercise files collection. I have a number of values, and let's say that I want to round them up or down using various methods. The first value in A2 is 12.875. Let's say that I want to round that to the nearest whole number. So for that, I'll type an equal sign in cell C2, and then the function round. I'll type it in all capital letters, and then a left parentheses. I need to give the round function two pieces of information. The first is the number, and that's in cell A2, and then a comma, and then the number of digits to the right of the decimal point. So let's say that I want to round to the nearest whole number. Any number of 12.5 or higher would be rounded to 13. Any number from 12 to 12.49 would be rounded to 12. So I have A2, and that would be 0 digits to the right of the decimal point. I'll type a right parentheses and then enter, and the value's been rounded to 13. But let's say that I wanted to round to a couple of digits to the right of the decimal point. So I will double-click cell C2 to start editing the formula in the cell. And let's say that I want to round to 1 digit to the right of the decimal point. So that would be 12.87, so that would be rounded up to 12.9. So I'll type a 1 and enter, and I get 12.9. If I were to round 2 places to the right of the decimal point, so I'll double-click cell C2 again, and I will change the 1 to 2, I should get 12.88, because 12.875, 5 is half or greater, should be rounded up to 12.88, and it is. Now let's say that I want to round up. In other words, if there's any decimal part of a number, I want to round up to the next whole number. Working with the value in A3, which is 11.1, and creating my formula in C3, I'll type equal, and I always want to round up, so that will be the function I use, round up. Followed by a left parentheses, I have 11.1 in cell A3, then a comma. I need to give it the number of digits again, so I'll type a 0, right parentheses, and enter, and I get 12. Now, the value in A4, 1160, is already a whole number, but I can use it to show how to use positions to the left of the decimal point using negative numbers. So let's say that I always want to round down. So in cell C4, I'll type an equal sign, and then the function round down. I want to go 2 digits to the left of the decimal point, so I'll type -2, then a right parentheses and enter, and I see that it rounds down to 1100. If I had gone 3 digits, or -3, then it would round down to 1000, which is the closest number in an increment of 1000. So far, I was rounding up based on values of 1/2 of a range. So for example, 0.5 or 0.05, and then 5, 50, and so on. Well, let's say that I want to use a different increment, and that could be 0.5, 0.2, 7, anything like that. For calculations like that, I can use the mround function. So I'll type an equal sign, and I'm in cell C5, then the function mround. Now I need to give it the number and then the multiple. That's where the m in mround comes from. So I have my number value in A5, then a comma, and the multiple. Let's say that I want to round it to the nearest increment of 0.5. So I'll say 0.5, and a right parentheses and enter, and it rounds it to 11.5. Now let's try it again. Let's round it to the nearest increment of 0.4. So I will edit the formula in C5. So it says mround A5 with an increment of 0.4 and enter. And I get 11.6 because that is a multiple of 0.4. I could also use an increment of a whole number. So let's say 6. I'll click cell C5 again. Actually, I'll double click it to edit the formula. and I will delete 0.4 and make it the whole number 6, and enter, and it rounds to 12. As you can see, you have a lot of techniques available that will help you round your values as you need them. Take some time to work with them, and after a while, they will become second nature.